weebs, welcome to our first special episode in a while. The regular special episodes are supposed to happen every 7 episodes. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. Before we get into the anime though, news announcement. Me and Leah are going to be getting back to the school grind soon. Mm-hmm. So we will be moving to a 2-week release schedule. And yeah.
Just to, make our lives a little easier as we sell our souls to the man.
Gotta keep that life balanced, for your health. So for the special episode, I again just shamelessly used it as an excuse to watch stuff on my list that I've been putting off for too long. And I guess the theme of it is samurai stuff, but like samurai animations with a twist. So we're watching Samurai Jack season 5, the new one that came out this year, and Samurai Champloo. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's exciting. We watched 2 episodes of each because there wasn't really a bad and a good one here, so we want it to be even.
And there is no bad and no good here, only good.
Only good.
Only good.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you told me what it was, what you wanted to watch, and I was just like, yes, 1,000 times yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
So, I feel like talking about Samurai Jack first.
All right.
How do you feel about that?
You want a little background?
Yeah, if you don't know about Samurai Jack, it was a Cartoon Network show. I'm just looking up the date here. It was from, I remember when it came out. When it came out, it was a Cartoon Network show. Okay, 2001. And it starts off with like, I think a 90-minute movie, pretty much. It's basically like 3 episodes. And it's amazing. It was created by this guy called Gendy Tartakovsky. And this guy on YouTube called Super Eye Patch Wolf, I think, has a pretty good like video that describes the history of it or how it got started. And like a lot of the popular Cartoon Network shows before it were like very dialogue heavy, like I think Johnny Bravo, maybe the Powerpuff Girls, like Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
And Samurai Jack was a lot different from those in that like there wasn't a lot of dialogue. It's just like very well directed, like minimalist action. And yeah, it's kind of hard to describe without watching it, but I remember Samurai Jack being like pretty popular with me and my friends back in 2001. And I didn't have cable at the time, but I did like rent a decent amount of it from the video store. And then like when I was a bit older,
in peace, Blockbuster. Sorry.
When I was a bit older, I did like watch through some of it from the same video store because I used to work there, so I like put it on while I was working, but they didn't like their DVD collection was incomplete of it, so I've watched like bits from all 4 seasons. But I never like watched every single episode. But the nature of the show, it's like every episode is just kind of a mini story. There's no like huge plot details that you need to worry about other than like in the first movie, maybe like a bit, and even then it's not so much. It's like every episode is kind of standalone, which is what makes the show kind of good and unique. Like you could, if you just turn on the TV and tuned into one episode, all you need to like it basically explains the premise in the intro and you'd be okay. Like Jack was a samurai and his lands were attacked by the evil like demon lord Haku. And then before Jack was like about to defeat Haku, but then Haku opens a portal to the future and sends Jack through it. And it's a future where like Haku rules the world and Jack is trapped in it and he's trying to get back to the past. Samurai Jack, which is the lyrics of the theme song, which is a very catchy like hip hop theme song.
Yes. Yeah, for me, I mean, I obviously grew up watching all of those like Cartoon Network shows like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab and stuff. I never like I have watched Samurai Jack. It was one of the ones that I always like seem to miss kind of thing. But I do definitely like I remember it. I remember watching some of the episodes. I remember it being like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard that it was being revamped, I was like, "Whoa, what?" And then I was even more interested when I heard that it was going to be airing on Adult Swim.
Yes.
So
I guess did mention
yeah.
that. Yeah, in March 2017, Adult Swim released season 5 of Samurai Jack, and yeah, it's on Adult Swim now, not Cartoon Network, because they know that like most of the people that really like Samurai Jack will be older now. So
yeah, it's really smart, and it also allows them to, take it to the next level, I guess.
Yeah, in the original show, Jack was always like the minions that he fought from Haku were like always robots. So there could be like lots of like blood and guts, except it was like oil and machine parts instead.
Yeah, so therefore they're allowed to show it. Yeah, kind of work around, violence on a Cartoon Network. So, which
yeah, you should watch the original movie though, because I know you haven't watched it, because it has like Jack growing up as a kid. And there's like some really good montages of like after Haku like attacks his home, Jack like he gets sent away with his mom, and he like travels the world and trains with some African tribes, trains with like some Shaolin monks, and he basically travels the world. And there's this really cool animation montage. And then when he does like, then there's a really good fight scene between him and Haku. And then there's like a lot of funny stuff when he first like travels to the future and like sees these weird aliens and stuff for the first time. And then the finale of the movie, he like fights a big horde of like the beetle robots, which is what season 5 starts off with. It starts off with him fighting a horde of beetle robots, but he's like helping this group of kind of like, they're basically like talking dogs, and they had like this
cute.
Oh, you remember those?
Oh my god. Oh no, I thought you were one of the ones he was saving in this episode, and I was like, I think they look more like little robots, but they're fucking adorable.
Oh yeah, no, in the original movie, he's like saving these like archaeologist professor dogs, and yeah, that part's really good. Yeah. So yeah, you should watch the original movie. It's good.
Yeah, I think I will for sure. But yeah, like when it first opens in this one, and I guess it has the throwback to him fighting the robot beetles, and then there's like
but
the
he shows up
mother-daughter
on like a motorbike, and he's using guns, and the
looks
guns
more like Shogun like awesomeness.
Yeah, like he wears armor in that fight scene in the first movie, but like in the original show, I'm pretty sure he like never uses guns.
Yeah,
so like right off the bat.
Yeah, when he was using guns, I was kind of like, oh.
Yeah, right from the start of season 5, it's like, okay, I can tell this is like gonna be a more mature tone. And like when his helmet gets knocked off, eventually you can see his hair is like long and shaggy, and he has a beard, and he's just like old and wants to die, kind of, or he's like having these mental breakdowns of like, oh, you're giving up on your family. And he's like, it's been 50 years and I haven't aged.
That was one thing that was definitely my first impression of starting this season of Samurai Jack. I was like, this is darker than I expected. Like, okay, it was kind of quite dark, and I was like, maybe I just don't really remember as much of the tone of the old Samurai Jack, or maybe like there's probably more of a mix when it was on Cartoon Network.
No, actually, it's significantly darker, and they're doing that on purpose. A lot of course,
because now they can.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was also sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? The story, like the episodes in this, there's like more story being told, because the other thing was season 4, like the last season before this, it didn't like really conclude the story. It just the show just kind of ended before the story was resolved, which was tragic. So season 5, they're definitely like concluding the story.
Makes sense. Or like, yeah, a mix of like reiterating who he is, what happened, where it left off, while also like launching into a new chapter kind of thing.
Yeah, because of the nature of the original show, how it being like kind of every episode's its own story, I wasn't too worried about about like just jumping into the show without catching up on anything, because I didn't think that would really be a problem. As long as you just know the premise of the original show and have watched a couple episodes, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah, which is how I was, and I was totally fine. Because, yeah, they do, like, even if you had never seen a single episode or knew anything about it, I still think you'd be fine. You might not, like, appreciate it as much, but you'd still, like, get the point. So, what'd you think about the little ninja girls, the little hexadecimal-looking girls?
Oh, yeah. Hexadecimal, that brings me back.
Yeah.
They were good. I remember seeing them in the trailers for the new season, so they're pretty interesting because, I mean, in the first episode, Jack fights like a horde of beetle robots again, and then he fights kind of like another robot assassin who plays the jazz flute and scats, which is pretty entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's kind of the montage of like this kind of cult of Aku worshipping priestesses, and one of them gives birth to septuplets.
Like, the birthing, when they just show the silhouette of the like woman giving really obnoxious birth, and there's like one baby, then two, and I was like, okay, so it'll be triplets, then three, but then it just like kept going, and I was like, wait, I was like, how many?
7 daughters.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, no. Oh God.
Yeah, I was definitely like, oh, poor woman.
Yeah, seriously. And then I was like, maybe it'll be that she's a monster, but like, no, she's like pretty, like, regular-ish female, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, I was surprised that like all they were doing was worshipping a statue of Haku. Like Haku wasn't even there. But yeah, so then they raise and train the girls to like defeat Jack, basically. So I thought that's interesting that they're introducing that, because they're not robots. So
I'm sorry, but I have to. We're being kind of throwback here in this episode anyway, so I'm gonna like go real far back here. Did you watch Recess, Liam?
Recess? Only a little bit.
Damn it. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna say it anyway because there might be some listeners out there who will know what I'm talking about. The character Spinelli in that show reminded me. No, Spinelli was like the spunky little Asian girl with the orange hat.
Oh, okay.
There's this one episode where she like joins a pageant, and anyway, her hair and the way she looks in that episode is exactly like the rebellious daughter Spawn in Samurai Jack. I was like, oh my God, it's Spinelli. What the fuck? Anyway, I hope someone got that reference and agrees with me, but if not...
Speaking of references... Speaking of references, this one's more anime related, but... and when the show was airing, kind of some of the Facebook groups I'm in show me this, but there's like a decent amount of Berserk references in the first 2 episodes at least.
Oh, really?
Like when Jack sees that he like keeps having visions of this kind of like green smoke shrouded figure on a horse who's like got a big antlered helmet. It's like kind of looks like a demon samurai or something. And like the first time that shows up, the way the shot's made looks like a lot like this panel from the Berserk manga when Guts is like looking at the skeleton knight. And I'm sure there's going to be like... Well, the character of Samurai Jack is a lot like the character of Guts in Berserk. The Guts in Berserk has influenced a lot of different anime protagonists.
Oh, I'm sure. And it's probably like a big homage kind of thing.
Yeah. Sad sword boys, as we like to call them.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah. Is the voice actor for Haku Uncle Iroh from Avatar?
I think so. Yeah, Haku's voice actor is awesome. Let me just bring this up here.
I was like, oh my God, it's Uncle Iroh! And then I just died a bit.
Greg Baldwin? Yeah, he's Iroh.
Knew it. Wouldn't mistake that voice anywhere. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the show. I'm trying to think.
I'm just looking at the other stuff he's been in, but yeah, it's mostly just Haku and Uncle Iroh. But yeah, I love Haku's voice actor, and I love the way he's animated, which which brings me to the second episode when it shows like Haku waking up in the morning, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, I laughed too. Actually, it was
Because
pretty
he's
good.
basically like he thought he hasn't seen Jack for like 50 years, and he's just become like lazy and depressed and like doesn't really have any challenges in life. So he like wakes up in the morning to his alarm clock and like opens a drawer and pulls out his flaming eyebrows and like puts his flaming eyebrows on, and then like does a bunch of really hilarious stretches and then goes back to his like godly duties.
I like when he just like insults Jack's beard.
Yeah. He's like, I was just waiting for him to eventually die, but all he's done is grow that stupid beard.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember what he says exactly. But...
Yeah, but it was something like that, and it was really funny. I enjoyed it. No, I was like really pleasantly surprised, and I think it was like an extremely smart move for them to put it on Adult Swim, like not just demographically, because I feel like that's the obvious reason they did it, but also just for the show. Like, I don't know, it was just... It has like a lot of really good like tones and different levels to it, like funny. The action scenes are amazing, and even for such like a simplistic animation, it's like really well done.
Well, and a lot of times when they're doing like the really intense part, like the black bars just like close in, so all you see is like a small sliver of what's actually happening. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and then towards the end of the second episode, Jack, who's kind of like in the middle of his like identity crisis, gets attacked by like the assassin girls, and they're like beating him really badly. And then he hides for a minute and like is kind of talking to himself, and he's like, no, you can do it, you always do it, they're just robots. And then there's like a really interesting chase through a labyrinth, but then like he manages to barely escape, but just after he finds out that like the people he's fighting aren't actually robots.
Yeah,
and then it kind of ends on a cliffhanger.
That's what I was wondering about, because again, I didn't remember necessarily a ton of the details on Samurai Jack. So when he stabs the one girl and then sees the blood and he looks all like, oh my god, what the fuck did I just do? I was kind of like, oh, so he never like actually really killed a human before? So
I don't think he's ever... I don't think he ever kills anything living in the show. Yeah. Because he's always, you know, been like the honorable, like wandering samurai. And so yeah, that's why it's like when he does like kill the first lady, it's like, okay, now it's like things are getting serious. Like he's never had to deal with this before, and that's kind of like a big significant change from the original show.
Yeah, they're like, shit's gonna get real here, so get ready. And I'm like, I'm so ready.
I'm also very ready.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely gonna keep going.
Yeah, there's only 10 episodes of this, so...
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm also gonna give the initial movie a watch, too. Maybe I'll do that.
Oh, yeah, you should watch that.
Continue.
And
then continue to watch Season 5. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think... I just want to say, like, everyone should watch this. It's great. Watch, like, at least the original Samurai Jack movie, and then watch this, and you'll have a great time.
Very, very.
It's not anime, but it's pretty good. It's like a nice... The animation style is just so different. It's like a nice break. And, like, the way it's, like, very slowly paced at certain points.
It's still animated and has, like, a premise that I think, you know... a lot of anime watchers would enjoy, even if they didn't get the chance to like experience it, you know, when they were growing up or whatever. So, yeah. Awesome choice, Liam.
Thanks. I'll probably finish it within the next 10 days.
Very nice.
So, should we move on to another samurai thing that actually is anime?
Yes.
So the other thing for the special episode is Samurai Champloo, which was the main creative guy behind it is, what's his name? Shinichiro Watanabe. Yeah, Shinichiro Watanabe, who is the main guy behind Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
And yeah, Samurai Champloo. I'll just give the synopsis here. Fu Kasumi is a young and clumsy waitress who spends her days peacefully working in a small tea house That is, until she accidentally spills a drink all over one of her customers. With a group of samurai now incessantly harassing her, Fu desperately calls upon another samurai in the shop, Mugen, who quickly defeats them with this wild fighting technique, utilizing movements reminiscent to that of breakdancing. Unfortunately, Mugen decides to pick a fight with the unwilling Ronin Jin, who wields a more precise and traditional style of sword fighting, and the latter proves to be a formidable opponent. The only problem is they end up destroying the entire shop and accidentally killing the local magistrate's son. For their crime, the two samurai are captured and set to be executed. However, they are rescued by Fu, who hires the duo as her bodyguards. Though she no longer has a place to return to, the former waitress wishes to find a certain samurai who smells of sunflowers and enlists the help of the now exonerated pair to do so. Despite initially disapproving of this idea, the two eventually agree to assist the girl in her quest. Thus, the trio embark on an adventure to find this mysterious warrior. That is, if Fu can keep Mugen and Jin from killing each other. Well, look at that. A well-written synopsis from Mel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, breakdance, sword-fighting samurai. Another notable thing from the show that some people bring up is that it's the only anime to have featured music from the Japanese hip-hop producer Nujabes, who passed away early in 2010, which was tragic, and it's kind of, it's like that's one of the other unique characteristics from the show is the like kind of lo-fi hip-hop soundtrack that it has, which is very groovy. It's
Samurai Champloo, the animation, the music, the tone, like I just love it.
It's very have. Cowboy.
Like
people said Cowboy Bebop is kind of like combining of a few different genres. Samurai Champloo also is, because it's like it's set in Edo, Japan, but obviously it's like a lot different from the Edo period. Because there's this breakdancing samurai, so it's like got elements of kind of like hip hop, Edo Japan, some gangster stuff in there. It's hard to describe. It's pretty awesome.
That little scene at the beginning with just the writing on the screen, where it's like basically saying this is not an accurate depiction, but let's face it, we don't give a shit.
And there's that flash forward. It's like the next day, and it flashes forward to like modern day Tokyo, and then it's like no, the next day, and it like has to rewind. And there's lots of like record scratch transitions, which is pretty entertaining.
The whole tone is just so good, and like just the style and direction of it all is very different, very stylized, and it's just love it. I actually
the action.
have seen a good chunk of Samurai Champloo.
Oh.
But it had been so long, I was like, yes, please, let's do it again. I was like, okay, I'll watch it again. And I didn't really remember the first couple episodes anyway, so it was really, really fun for me to go back. And also makes me kick myself in the ass for why I never finished it, so...
Yeah. I liked the design of the characters is very stylized, and it's not like your typical anime where like there's a lot of characters who are like drawn to be kind of ugly, or like their faces are like just drawn kind of weirdly a lot of the time, or like with a lot thicker black lines just with everything.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all the thicker lines and the contrast.
And the sword fights are pretty interesting, especially like when Mugen and Jin fight, because Mugen's like doing flips all over the place and using his feet because he's got like metal plated sandals that he can use to block swords with.
I can't believe, I mean, I know it's an anime, but I'm just like, how the fuck are you flipping and running and prancing around in the frickin' like clog Japanese sandals? I was like, oh my god. I would have ate shit by now. Oh, yeah.
And then Jin's just like, what the fuck are you doing, you like pleb? It's like, learn how to sword fight properly, you idiot.
But that said, you're also amazing.
And then Jin is like entertaining to watch in a different way because he's so like calm and collected.
Just like a genuine badass.
Yeah, and he's got glasses too, which is funny.
I know, I thought back,
And,
I was like, did they have glasses back then? I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like, I think the show, the description says it's like specifically said like alternate period Edo Japan. I'm like, okay. So.
Yeah. Definitely. Alternate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way the second episode was, because the second episode was like, definitely a continuation of the first episode, like the synopsis says, but like they definitely fight some like new villains and then defeat them by the end of the episode. So that got me kind of wondering if the show was gonna be a bit of like just villain of the week kind of thing. But
from whatever
I feel like it's not.
From whatever call, I think it's, and I could be wrong again, it has been so long and I didn't finish it. It is a little bit episodic. Like, there are things that happen episode to episode, but it also has, like, still that, like, overarching kind of idea behind it, I believe is how it was. Like with the whole sunflower night.
Right.
Samurai.
Yeah, and this
also, what does a sunflower smell like? That was the first thing I thought about. I'm like, do sunflowers have a scent?
Yeah, and I like how the two samurai actually address that in the second episode. They're like, well, Mugen is literally like, what's a sunflower? And they're like, it's a flower. It's like, well, what does a sunflower smell like? I'm like, yeah, what does a sunflower smell like? That's like a very vague description.
Yeah, that's exactly what my thoughts were too. I was like, good point. What does it smell like?
So I don't know, maybe there'll be some twist with that by the end of the show. There are 26 episodes. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. What was I going to say? The part with when Fu is going to save them from their execution, and she visits that shop owner, and you don't know what it is she's buying, but she's very happy to be given them. I didn't remember this part, so it was really funny for me. But you know how she's running, and it just looks like all of a sudden she has massive boobs, and they're like flopping.
Yeah, and they're like jiggling around. I definitely was going to mention that.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what? I don't even care that they're making like that obnoxious of a kind of service or whatever, because the show's so fucking awesome. And then you find out
and
it's actually
just like, bombs or fireworks.
You find out they're actually two like round like firework balls that she's going to use to like help save them, and I just had a good laugh, and I was like, oh, they got me. They got me good.
When that happened, I was like, well, I mean, they didn't have bras in Edo Japan, probably.
Yeah.
But then they're fireworks, so.
It actually would have worked even if it was just her boobs, because it, in a weird way, would have fit the style of the show, because, she looks so flat before, and then as soon as she's running, it could be that her boobs are, going all over, like, that's how great the show is. I wouldn't even have cared.
Yep.
I enjoyed that part. It was very funny.
I'm definitely going to keep watching this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely
I'm going to finish Samurai Jack first.
Watch it too.
Just because Samurai Jack is obviously a bit more intense than this, and you said it's like a little episodic, but the 2 episodes I've watched of this so far have been very enjoyable, so.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know which one I'm going to start on first, because I do need to. I need something to watch right now, and like I do have like Hero Academia, but I'm not always in the mood for that. So I don't know. I might be feeling the Samurai Champloo, but Samurai Jack is also awesome. I don't know. I'll see.
Samurai Jack and Samurai Champloo, they're both shows about samurai that like are very stylistically unique, and they're both very different. So
yes, that's very true.
You could definitely finish Samurai Jack faster. So.
That is true. Maybe I'll watch a little bit of both at the same time. Get my samurai fill. Yeah.
And yes, Samurai Champloo, it's like got a really good opening song and ending song.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of comparable to. It always makes me think of the Boondocks a little bit too.
Okay, yeah.
Just like the music wise kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a little comparable.
And the new Javes, like that's something my brother, who's like not really into anime at all, like even he's like listened to the new Javes and like knows about them like dying early in 2010 and stuff.
Yeah,
I think like because his music is like featured in this anime, like that, like lo-fi hip hop in general often like gets related to anime a lot on YouTube and like mixes and stuff, which Digibro kind of touches on in one of his videos. Yeah, it's like been a pretty interesting evolution.
For sure. Yeah,
yeah,
good picks this week, Liam. Very, very much enjoyed.
You're welcome. It was nice to finally get a chance to check both these out. I'm excited to like watch more of them.
Keep going. Definitely. Maybe we'll come back to them a little later. Have a bit of discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it then.
Yeah, definitely give both of them a watch, listeners. Super, super amazing. Even if you think they might not be your style, just do it anyway because they're great. And I feel kind of like Cowboy Bebop, every anime fan should at least check out Samurai Champloo because it's like a pretty well-known anime.
Yeah. Well, maybe like we said, like his Cowboy Bebop's always recommended as like a good starter anime. If you like Cowboy Bebop, maybe then your next logical step could be Samurai Champloo, possibly.
See, I don't know about that. I think people might actually have an easier time getting into Samurai Champloo first because Cowboy Bebop is very, like, it's not even that it's stylized for me, it's the tone of Cowboy Bebop. Like, it's a show where you watch it through once and you don't even realize how much you enjoyed it until it's done. Oh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Samurai Champloo, because it's so action-heavy and, like, fun, like, you can just, like, I think anyone could really get into it. So,
Samurai Champloo has an 8.5 on my anime list, which is pretty high.
That is pretty high, yeah.
And it came out in 2004, which is like 6 years after Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop has an 8.81, so just a little bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both, similar. Like, you can definitely tell they're like the same, creator and style, but they're also very different. But both good.
All right.
Yeah. That was our special episode, listeners.
Cool. So, like we said before, we're to a 2-week release schedule now. So the next episode, which you'll hear in 2 weeks, will be the Taboo Tattoo and Zetsu no Tempest, back to the regular schedule. And we've got a YouTube channel with a spicy video from Otafest that's out now.
Watch it.
We've got a Facebook page that you can talk to us on. We're also on my anime list with profiles. Feel free to talk to us there. And there's links for all that stuff in the description of the podcast. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.